Hey there, welcome back to the channel, and I'm excited for today's second flight in the Cessna 150 when I took it out. I'm disappointed though, I don't have any audio from the flight, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to have a lot of voiceover kind of walking through some of the stuff, but a lot of things happened in this flight, from adjusting the radio squelch settings to steep turns and stalls. Power off 180s, forward slip to landing. It was a really great time in the 150 for my second hour, and getting super comfortable with that airplane, and quickly it's becoming my favorite. So let's take a look at this flight, and I'll walk you through some of the things we did in this one. So beyond the obvious mission of just getting more comfortable in this new airplane to me and practicing some maneuvers and landings, one of the primary objectives of today's flight was to work on getting these radios more consistent. You may remember in the previous video, I discovered that we had some significant communication problems. I'll put a link to it up here.
133 for 130 Foxtrot Alpha. Yeah, the radios in here are questionable. Let's just call that.
And so one of my objectives of today was to adjust the squelch settings of the radios to try to make them more reliable. And indeed, that was successful. So after getting the radios all dialed in and fine-tuning that a little further, it was time to head out to the west practice area, west of the Clarksburg Airport, to work on some flight maneuvers. And the first thing I wanted to start with was a maneuver I haven't done for a while, and that is steep turns. So I got the airplane established on a cardinal heading at 3,500 feet and at 90 miles per hour, and decided to start with a steep turn to the left. Took me a moment to get my bearings and to get established in the plane, but I managed to hold the turn within about 100 feet of altitude, so close to busting the requirements there, and pretty close on my airspeed as well. We do one to the left, and then we'll do one to the right. And immediately into a right-hand steep turn. Again, about 80 feet of altitude lost in that steep turn. Next up, it's slow flight and stalls. First up, a power off stall. So we're in 30-degree flaps, power is to idle at an approach speed, and we start pulling up the nose. Remaining coordinated with rudder as we keep pulling back. Stall horn sounds, nose comes over, we recover with full power. Carb heat is in, flaps up 10 degrees, and then we will bring the rest of the flaps out incrementally as we recover. Power off stall, the easy stall. Next up, a power on stall, my least favorite. Power on stall. I decided to do this in this plane at 2,300 RPM. This is with the flaps up. 2,300 RPM, and start bringing up the nose. After hanging here on the nose for a while, I made one mistake. I wanted to get the stall to happen quicker, so I pulled back about 100 RPM, but what I failed to do was let off a little right rudder as I did that. And you'll see the plane start to yaw to the right before the nose falls over in the stall, which you'll see the right wing drop pretty dramatically because of that right yawing motion in the stall. Now in the video, you see me use left aileron to try to correct that, and obviously that's pretty ineffective. But additionally, what you can't see there is I'm also using left rudder, which is the correct control input to bring that nose back over while applying full power as the nose falls over. Now for some landing practice back at Clarksburg. In the last video in the 150, I struggled with finding speeds that worked for me, and so this flight I decided 85 downwind, 75 base, 65 on final would be the speeds we'd go for today. So as we get established here on base, getting ready to turn final, we'll see how those speeds work out for our first landing of the day. Pretty good. Next up, we'll try a power off 180 from a beam, the touchdown point here, and I waited just a little too long to start turning in towards the numbers, so I had to use power on the way in. At this point, I realize I'm not going to make the numbers, and I'm preparing to add power as necessary to get there. Okay, I could have done a lot of things different on that one. Turn in sooner, more direct to the numbers. Lessons learned. And finally, one of my favorite things about this 150, unlike the 172 385-2 Lima that I trained in, this airplane does permit forward slips with flaps. So on this approach, we remained high intentionally and execute a forward slip to landing on runway 21 at Clarksburg. A short flight back to Fairmont and one final landing on this morning put the Cessna 150 away, and felt like we've accomplished a lot in this second flight ever in a Cessna 150. Hey, thanks for coming along today on this flight. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider clicking the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to be notified when I publish new content. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.